President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni shuffles ambassadors, replaces career diplomats. That and more stories in Aboli today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nahabe Kajur, but first are the headlines. ADF chapter will soon be closed once and for all, according to Minister Babalanda. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa tests positive for COVID-19, mildly ill. In our sports today, Samuel Eto'o has been elected new Cameroon FA president. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. The President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has made fresh appointments for Ugandan ambassadors and heads of missions and replaced USA's career diplomats, USA Malkatende and Tanzania's Kabonero, among others. We have more on this report.
By the virtual powers vested in the President of the Republic of Uganda by Article 122, President appointed ambassadors, high commissioners and deputy ambassadors to their respective brotherly and friendly countries. In the appointments done yesterday, Museveni replaced Richard Kabonero in Dar es Salaam with a former member of parliament for Nyabusozi County, Colonel Frederick Mwesje. Also replaced in the new appointments is Uganda's ambassador to the United States based in Washington, D.C., Mulsebuja Katende. The new ambassador for Uganda to the United States is now Rubika Konge. Also replaced is Dr. Crispus Walter Kionga in China. The new ambassador for China will now be Judith Nsababere. Former Democratic Party stalwart Ismail Beswale Kezala has also been dropped as ambassador to India.
Moving on, the Minister for Presidency, Mil Babalanda, has said that the story of ADF will soon be closed once and for all, adding that the ADF has existed for such a prolonged time due to some weaknesses by the great elect leaders.
Babalanda said that DRC and Museveni's wise decision to start a joint operation to pin down the ADF terrorists was aimed at uprooting the taproot of terrorism once and for all. Babalanda was speaking during the annual Thanksgiving service hosted by President Museveni, together with the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, at State House in Entebbe. The UPDF and the Congolese last month launched air and artillery attacks against ADF bases in DRC. Ugandan troops have also set boots on the ground in DRC to flush out the Allied Democratic Forces rebel group. Speaking on Saturday, Minister Babalanda said she was very sure the ADF does not operate in isolation, but that they would all be frustrated. She said that there are supporters of their cause who are against the operation, which is aimed at stabilizing the region, which caliber of people has always existed even during the days of Jesus Christ. Quoting the Bible in Psalms 33, 10-12, she said Uganda's plans will be blessed by God and that they will succeed.
Away from that, in an effort to make postal services more reliable and super-friendly, Posta Uganda has partnered with SafeBorder to mutually operate a new product, Posta Express service. The service will enable consumers to request for delivery services from the comfort of their homes and offices. Our reporter has more.
Addressing the media today at the Uganda Media Center, Mr. James Arinaitwe, the Managing Director, Posta Uganda, said the express service comes with a much-needed quality of reliability that has not been seen in the package delivery business, which will increase convenience for customers who need their packages be delivered in time around the city. And on top of that, all items couried under this system will be insured against loss while in transit, making it the most innovative in the East African region.
We have a new product called Posta Express that will enable us to deliver to you at home. But in order to make it sustainable, we have gone into a partnership with SafeBorder. SafeBorder is well known to you. The service has been on since times. It's not a new service. What is changing is the mode of delivery of that service. We still welcome you to come to the post office to transact, but this express product enables us to reach you at home. Is it sustainable? Yes. The partnership with SafeBorder brings on board 25,000 motorcycles that you and I use on a daily basis. And we know that SafeBorder is a fairly reliable and safe means of transport. So by simply accessing our website www.ugapost, you will now be able to order for the safe order to come to you, and you'll access postal services at your home or at your office. It is as simple as that. It's available online and you're able to track where your goods are.
Mr. Arinaitra added that the express service will ease the burden of customers moving their parcels to postal offices to begin transit, since with the new service, customers will order the service using their phones, whether at home or office, and their items will be picked by trained and professional riders who will deliver it to its destination if it's in the Central Business District or to Posta Uganda offices for last mile delivery to other parts of the country.
Posta Express, a partnership between Posta Uganda and Safe Order to access everybody at their home or at their office. The product will commence on Wednesday after it's been launched formally at the General Post Office. Ugandans should not suffer with the traffic. Ugandans should not suffer with anything. Stay at home and we shall serve you.
Posta Express Services is therefore providing Ugandans a better way of operating business in a faster, efficient manner and transitioning the courier business to a conveniently enjoyable and reliable service. TV Africa News, Mutabazi Kabazi reporting.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter Kachanchu. We take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In the international news, veteran Kenyan politician Raila Odinga announced on Friday that he would make his 50th bid for the presidency in next year's election, ending months of suspense following a surprise truce with his former foe, President Uhuru Kenyatta. We have more.
The announcement at a Nairobi stadium packed with political bigwigs and thousands of supporters followed speculation that the 76-year-old, who was the face of Kenya's opposition for decades, had struck a power-sharing deal with Kenyatta to secure his backing for the top job. Odinga declared to loud cheers that he accepted to present himself as a presidential candidate for the presidential elections of the 9th August 2022, adding that he was committed to building a democratic and progressive Kenya in their lifetime. A mainstay of Kenyan politics, the former Prime Minister, fondly referred to as Baba Daddy in Kiswahili, remains hugely popular despite losing 4 shots at the presidency in 1997, 2007, 2013 and 2017. But his fiery anti-establishment image took a knock in March 2018 when he stunned the country by clasping hands with Kenyatta just months after deadly post-election clashes. The truce, known universally as the handshake, sparked speculation the two men had made a pact that would see Odinga succeed Kenyatta, a two-term president who cannot run a third time. The two leaders also sought to expand the executive through proposed constitutional changes that would have potentially allowed Kenyatta to stay in power as a prime minister. But despite Kenya's top court ruling against the proposed amendments in August, the unexpected alliance has preserved with Odinga attending official government functions with Kenyatta.
Moving on, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is receiving treatment for mild COVID-19 symptoms after testing positive for the virus on Sunday, according to his office. We have more.
A statement from the presidency announced that President Cyril Ramaphosa started feeling unwell and a test confirmed COVID-19. The statement said that the president is self-isolating in Cape Town and is being monitored by South African Military Health Service, adding that he has delegated all responsibilities to Deputy President David Mabuza for the next week. Ramaphosa, 69, is fully vaccinated. The statement didn't say whether he had been infected with the Omicron coronavirus variant. Last week, Ramaphosa visited 4 West African countries. He and all members of his delegation were tested for COVID-19 in each of the countries during the trip. Some in the delegation tested positive in Nigeria and returned directly to South Africa. Throughout the rest of the trip, Ramaphosa and his delegation tested negative. Ramaphosa returned from Senegal on December 8th.
Moving on, in France, the Court of Appeal in Versailles will announce today the decision on the case involving Congolese Rumba star Koffi Olomide. Our reporter has more.
The artist, who lives in France, is on trial for sexually assaulting and kidnapping 4 of his former dancers while touring in the country. The decision by appeal court is the result of an appeal from a court decision dating back in 2019 and challenged by the victims. Last October, about 40 people gathered in support of the civil parties to demand a firm decision. A social worker, Picho Roland Shobongo, speaking on behalf of the victims, said that he is in a process of domination against women and takes advantage of the weakness of some women. Shobongo added that they need a firm decision to condemn this man and prevent him from returning to the Congo. At the start of the appeal, the public prosecutor demanded 8 years in prison and that the previous court decision is reversed. The star appeared in person at the appeal and rejected the accusations.
Moving on, in our international news, Angola's ruling party, MPLA, elected on Friday President João Lourenço as the candidate for the August 2022 presidential elections. During his speech, the president appealed to the support of women and young people. The election of João Lourenço for a second mandate takes place 5 days after the main opposition party, UNITA, elected Adalberto da Costa Jr. as their candidate. Lourenço, president of Angola, announced that they are sure that with the commitment of young people, the commitment of women, and the commitment of their activists, the August 2022 party is already theirs. The current president replaced former president José dos Santos in 2017. Dos Santos stayed in power for 38 years. João Mauricia, a delegate of the province of Kwanza Sul, said that this is a historic congress taking place at a time when the party is celebrating 65 years of its foundation. The congress was well attended for the first time. The party has the principle of parity with 35% of youth in the party, and in fact the party is strengthening. The current president has vowed to restore Angola's oil-independent economy and fight graft, leading to accusations of a political witch hunt by the former First family. Thank you so much, our reporter. We'll take a quick break. We shall come back with our business news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In a business news today, in Rwanda, electric motorcycle taxis are helping to drive the change in a country where fuel guzzlers dominate the roads. Now, the argument for conversion is strong, according to the CEO of Rwanda Electric Motors Limited, Donald Kabanda.
Donald Kabanda, the Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Electric Motors Limited, said that one battery can cover up to 60 kilometers and costs 900 Rwandan francs, which is cheaper compared to 1 liter of petrol that costs about 1,000 Rwandan francs and covers only 35 kilometers. The drawback for many is still the lack of an extensive charging network. Evod Nyorema, a motorcycle driver, said that his clients are happy with the electric motorcycle because they move so well compared to the fuel motorcycles. He added that the only problem they find is that the distance they cover is relatively small because of unavailability of electricity. The authorities plan to convert 30% of motorcycles 20% of buses and 25% of mini and micro buses to electric power by 2030. Donald Kabanda added that so far they have retrofitted 80 bikes and have new pure electric around 200 bikes that are already in operation. The conversion policy is financed by the Rwandan government and the United Nations Development Programme.
Away from business, in our health news today, more than 3,000 medical professionals continue to strike in Angola, claiming better salaries and working conditions. Now, the National Union of Doctors announced the extension of the strike that started last week. Our reporter has more. More than half of Angola's doctors will indefinitely continue a national strike over pay and conditions as the coronavirus pandemic strains the African nation's depleted public health services. The National Union of Doctors in Angola has given President João Lourenço's government a 30-day ultimatum, and negotiations have continued since the start of December. According to the union, only seriously ill patients will continue to receive treatment in emergency wards, with only 50% of permanent staff present. According to official numbers, there are 5,200 medical professionals working in the country. The pandemic placed further pressure on the already strained medical system. Angola has recorded 65,400 infections and around 1,700 deaths. Angola resorted to asking China and Cuba for help to fight the first COVID wave last year, with more than 250 Cuban doctors arriving. According to 2020 figures, Angola has 5,200 doctors. Resource-rich Angola, a large Central African country with 33 million inhabitants, struggles with poverty rates despite its oil wealth and its annual economic output, plummeted at the start of 2021. Now let's turn your attention to our sports news today. The former Cameroonian international Samuel Eto'o has just been elected president of the Cameroon Football Federation with 43 votes ahead of the incumbent president, who received 31 votes. We have more.
The former Barcelona and Inter player defeated Sedou Bombo Njoya, who was elected in 2018, but his election was contested by several actors of Cameroonian soccer and cancelled in mid-January by the Court of Arbitration for Sports. The 40-year-old former striker had announced his intention to run for post on September 22nd, saying it was time to launch the reconstruction of Cameroonian soccer. Mr. Eto'o said that the ousted president of Fecafoot had failed miserably. Eto'o 40 will take over an organization long tainted by infighting, mismanagement, and allegations of corruption. Football's global governing body, Federation for International Football Association, has intervened several times to end bickering among Fecafoot officials. Eto'o had initially been disqualified from running because he is also a Spanish citizen, but the ruling that nobody with dual nationality could run for office was challenged and later tossed out. He received widespread support from many former teammates in a high-profile campaign during which he pledged to rid the game in Cameroon of corruption. Cameroon will host the final phase of the African Cup of Nations from January 9th to February 7th, 2021. It was stripped of the right to host the tournament in 2019 because of delays in preparation and security concerns.
Thank you so much for being a loyal audience. From where we started from, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.